Welcome to the 11th Lightning Talk event put on by the team at KEEZ, where we give community members a 5-minute spotlight to talk about whatever they want in whatever medium they prefer. With these Lightning Talks and ultimately KEEZ in general, we are trying to set up an environment where information and knowledge is constantly being shared and dispersed. Come and share because your words may spark inspiration in the minds of others. These are hosted weekly and recorded and posted on our YouTube. Quick disclaimer, people may choose to use this time to talk about a project they're working on or something they may have invested in. KEEZ does not endorse anything brought up in these chats, and as always, do your own research. Today, counting myself, we have 3 people speaking. One being Ajand from Luksta and Artisan Alley, and the other one being Emboy James from Family. So I see both of them are down there. Either one of you, if you'd like to go first, raise your hand. I can get you up here. If you'd like me to go first, that's cool. I can totally go first too. I'll just give them a sec. Yeah, Heisenberg, it looks like NFT Gating tomorrow. That should be a pretty cool one. I will definitely be there for that, especially because they said there'll be a prize there. Okay, neither of them raised their hands, so I'll just go first. I think that's cool. Sounds good. All right, so I chose to talk about this week the oracle that Vlad recently released for Universal Page. So let me set my 5-minute timer here, make sure I don't go over. All right. So again, hi everyone, I'm Sage, I'm your Lightning Talk host. I'll be here every week, no matter what. This week, I'm talking about the oracle that Vlad put out in relation to profile data for Universal Page. So last week, Vlad from Universal Page opened a profile data oracle on LUKSO mainnet. This means that all the data of users that is available on-chain can now easily be pulled together and utilized. That's all the available data that they have for Universal Page as well. For example, utilized to create a score for Universal Page users, as Vlad did and as I will go into. Vlad did that. He also provided documentation that came with this thing too, and I'm pretty much going to, in this talk about my opinions on the documentation and some feelings about the scoring that Vlad put together. So first, in those documents that he put together, he states, a universal profile is a digital identity that is stored on the blockchain. It is a collection of data that is associated with an account. The data can be used to identify a person, a company, or an organization. The data can be used to verify the identity of the account holder, and it can be used to access services, sign transactions, and interact with other accounts. I love that intro statement to those docs. I'm going to run through a couple of those points, though. First one, the first 2 sentences I thoroughly enjoy. Yes, universal profiles are digital identities that have a collection of on-chain data associated. This is what we've been harping on for a while. Universal profiles will create digital identities that we've never seen before. Technically, an EOA also does that. It has on-chain data associated to it, but for the reasons that most of the people here listening today know, and will take me a little bit longer than 5 minutes to dive into, universal profiles are the more robust and easier to serve as a social identity layer. I am glad that he also points out in those docs that the data can be used to verify the identity of a holder. Now, I know he didn't go too in-depth there, but I wanted to take some time and point out that he's stating it as a good thing, and I wanted to say that that can definitely be something that's more dangerous than I think what he was implying naturally. One of those ways is of course, all of the data that Vlad is pulling is fair game. He's pulling it from a public blockchain, right? But the idea that a blockchain account or this data can be collected and then leveraged against a universal profile to then tell who owns the account is a dangerous thing. We want to make sure that we're protecting people's privacy and keeping people's identities in a safe way and the data that's related to them, right? So I thought that was important to note. Now, again, I don't think Vlad has any intention to go over that line, but the last sentence of that section from the docs as well is pretty awesome. He talks about the scoring and how you could create access services, sign in transactions, or interact with other accounts based on this information. Now, in theory, the scores, you could create like certain logic that by having a certain high or low score, it enables you to mint a specific asset or disable minting for people with lower scores, right? And there's, in theory, all of these different kind of fun games that you could play with scoring. Now, I wish that Vlad provided some more info into the actual scoring methodology. I don't think it's necessarily like we want to be transparent about how these scores are coming into play. But again, as Vlad provided, this information is publicly available, and anybody can go and compile the information in a different way if they didn't like how Vlad was making said scores, right? They could also go use the same data that he's using on their own platform and score it differently, and then enable all those use cases of being able to mint based on scoring, which I think is cool. Moral of the story, I guess, this is fun shit, and I enjoy doing fun shit on chain, and I'm glad to see that Jake and Vlad, even if it's mostly Vlad that's putting this oracle together, is starting to do fun things like create scoring. And as Vlad stated in his tweet, this is kind of like some of the first iterations that we've seen of a reputation system, as we've been talking about. And anybody who's scoped around in the reputation systems chat in our common ground knows about some of the risks, especially some of the ones that I brought up. But this first iteration that Vlad is putting out is definitely interesting. It's publicly available information, so it's cool stuff. And again, I will, if you didn't see that tweet, I just copied the docs that I've been talking about, so I'll throw it in here. Now, let me just see if we got any questions here. Feel free to lead the way. Dave's here, catching one live. Any idea how it scores bots? Heisenberg, he said, again, this is where I wish he provided a little bit of more information, but he said that some of the info that he used was like how, like the diversity of the amount of collections that you have in your universal profile, the amount of assets itself. But like on scoring bots, you could in theory make a bot that was just minting these assets, minting every collection that came out, right? So I don't think it has any like Sybil resistant features or any like ways to circumvent bots as of right now. But that's where like I'm talking about data layers. And if there's more data available that isn't just like an action on chain, it's more of like relating to the actual information itself, I think we'll be able to get into more complex systems. But again, as you get more complex, more issues can potentially arise. So either way, love that he's doing cool shit like that, Vlad over there at UPage, and it's good stuff. All right, let's bring up, we got Emboy raising his hand here. James, how are you? Family Clothing founder. What is going on, man?
Sage, busy past couple of days, few days, just trying to get this drop release and finalized. But on your point regarding the Oracle, actually, is I've been researching about like carbon credits and also, attaching pretty much a financial instrument on our hoodies. So on our future plans down the line is, we want to create a sustainable factory in the Philippines where I had some connections with a government with my cousins. And I feel like from what I've researched recently is that we can then utilize the factory we have, right? And then use the carbon credits off our whole manufacturing supply chain and then attach it to our hoodies, like in the digital assets. And then what's crazy about it is that it just adds further utility to our assets, man. And I think what NFTs does is just once you add further files or digital assets on it, not just 3D files, but think about this carbon credits like financial instruments, right? It's just going to be, from my point of view, it's going to be another store of value. Because I'm not sure if you guys are seeing it in your side in America too, but here in Australia, where our housing crisis right now, man, like with rentals and also with like housing, because what the government has done is that made this housing as a store of value instead of a commodity, right? Instead of people to live in, they use it as a way to speculate, money and stuff like that. So I think what this carbon credits does is that it can also tokenize, like hoodies, digital items like Chanel bags and all that kind of stuff, right? And I think you can earn passive income off that and like stake it, earn yield, and that's a way to like limit yourself or like put yourself away from the fiat system, right? That's another way to store your money, like gold, like silver and stuff like that. So yeah, it's funny you say the Oracle is getting built because I feel like that's going to be super important, coming up 2-3 years down the line, right? And I think yeah, just I think things are coming slowly together, man. Like people are just building different stuff, and they're getting just coalesce together. And I think it's the beauty of it. I think also with common ground, like releasing the LS coding gating and stuff, we can utilize that with our project, right? And just that's not limited to common ground. You know what I mean? So yeah, on our upcoming drop this April 15, we'll release more info probably in the next coming few days. We have a call with Fawn and Sarah on April 15, so that should be fun. We'll release more details about that on date and also the timing. But yeah, keep your eyes on that. Thanks, Jage.
Of course, yeah. And I would, we just put out a giveaway for family here on our Twitter. I'll throw that tweet in the comments. So he has given away one of the newest releases from family. Follow the instructions in the tweet and you got yourself a chance to win them. Family, I think it is interesting too, is like we always talk about these reputation systems, and I feel like almost every time we talk about it on the sense of like an individual, right? Every once in a while we bring it up as like a way to vet projects, right? Like we know a token has a verified contract and that they've acted in so and so way over the past year, so you could theoretically have more higher trust in connecting your wallet. Something like that too. Carbon credits is like a great way to verify that like family is someone who like takes his project and is eco-friendly with it, right? Like you're conscious of the environment and this is a cool practice. Therefore, like I might score, if I was building a platform to vet projects, I might score you a little higher, right? And that would be interesting information for people to be able to see at first glance. Yeah,
And also,
that is very cool.
yeah, the way I see it as well, Sage, is like it's giving resources to this upcoming countries, continents, right? I think that's the way I see it. For me, like I'm building in the Philippines, right? I could be taking investment from different countries and putting into the community and building that community up, right? Because I think the super poor, right? The minimum wage is around like what, 300 pesos, 400 pesos a day, which is around 10 bucks or something like that. So if you can upgrade that for what, just 2x, it's not much in terms of in the global scale, but in that community it's a massive jump, you know what I mean? So yeah, I think it's what all of this is giving the resources to the people that's needed the most. I think like the communities, like you're in South America, like Argentina and stuff like that. So yeah, I think that's what it's doing, man. It's beautiful to see. It's people that need it the most are getting the resources that they need.
Mm-hmm. Yep, couldn't agree more. And again, as a founder yourself, it's great to hear you talking about this directly, right? Because I know you'll be making those considerations while you're pulling your project along for sure. But again, good to see you, James.
Thanks,
yeah, lightning talk extraordinaire right here, James. He's given Heisenberg a run for his money for individual who has spoken on these the most. And I would like to remind everyone that Florian has told me, he is here, has told me that he does have the logs of everybody who has attended these calls, and I definitely keep track of all the people who have spoken. So as soon as we have the way to issue tokens for people coming to chats, those people, Heisenberg and James specifically, who have been here all the time, are going to be loaded. Ajand, how are you? Luksta founder and
Hello,
Arts
Sage.
Ally
Hello,
founder. How are you?
everybody. I'm doing good. Thank you. How about you?
I'm doing great. Yeah, you look good. Sound's coming through well. So feel free to spiel here for 5 minutes. All yours.
Okay, so first I want to thank community for their amazing support. All deities got minted in 5 days. It was unbelievable for me. But uh, I think I used to, when I was working on FundUp, I used to want to build everything perfectly, but I changed my approach in this project and putting the Apex deities or Artisan Alley in a way that I saw that the community wants something to engage with, and I think we can inherit the mindset of building in Silicon Valley, building small stuff, put there in the world, and people use it, get feedback, building fast and iterate a lot. I'm trying to put that mindset in our builders team. So I think in the this Epic state is sell the money we're going to use for developing artisanally, and artisanally going to provide a way for people to find some funds, early funds. Then we are going to combine it with Luksta when people want the project have some development, then they can get more funds, and the whole of this makes a snowball that gets bigger and bigger when times goes on, and uh, building a community of good dApps on the chain we love. I think, Pete, there are lots of people and investors that love to invest with their leaks, but they don't know, they have no way to invest them, so they exit their leaks and invest it on some meme coin in Solana. So if we provide, if builders provide ways for these investors to see the vision, see the future, see the builds that really make sense, that the money gets back to the chain instead of exiting it.
Yep, couldn't agree more there, John. I mean, we want to keep these funds in LUKSO instead of having them exit, right? We don't want to be extractive. We want to make sure that we're creating circular economies here, and I think that's definitely what you're aiming for with Artisan Alley. It's also great to hear that you're just trying to build fast and ship, right? Worry about the hype less, grow communities naturally. That's great to see. I would also like to add here, Heisenberg asked in the comments, will quadratic voting be supported at first or some other strategy? And
I guess quadratic voting will be the first strategy in FundUp, which makes sense more because FundUp is a granting system. Basically, FundUp is a fork of Allo protocol using universal profiles. So their main strategy is quadratic voting. So we are our first strategy going to be quadratic voting.
Yep, I was going to say, I didn't know if Heisenberg was asking about FundUp or if he was asking about the DAO that will inevitably be coming to Artisan Alley, but I was going to take that as a time to say, Heisenberg, if you have a certain amount of voting strategy that you'd like to see used in the DAO for Artisan Alley, expressing that in some of the chats would definitely be an option, as we're trying to work towards that for sure. Yeah, cool.
I don't think that DAO going to have the quadratic voting, the simple voting.
I would say simple voting as well, but if Heisenberg could convince me otherwise, I'd like to hear it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool, John. Anything else, or conviction-based voting? Heisenberg must have heard one of my earlier lightning talks about my favorite type of voting, because that's it right there for sure.
Yeah, that's also in our mind for FundUp as well.
Yeah.
The good thing about Allo protocol is it's very flexible. The bad thing is when it's very flexible, you have to build a lot of things yourself. You know, they just give a bare bone project for what is the strategy, and then you have to build all the strategies.
Yeah, it's a give and take. I mean, ideally, after you give a couple strategies and you make it as open source and permissionless as we can have people like Heisenberg coming in and implementing other strategies that'll then be available later down the line, right?
For sure.
Yeah. Okay, cool. I don't see any other questions. John, is there anything else that you'd like to add on here?
No, thank you.
Cool. It's good. I think good for people to be able to place a face onto Luksta and Artisan Alley. People were asking in the Discord. I saw about some more information about FundUp. I told them, FundUp and Luksta, not a whole lot right now, but again, will keep coming as it keeps progressing for sure.
Yes, so we have to build these things in order to make sense. It's like Artisan Alley should be the first one because it's for seed money. Then we're gonna launch Luksta when we want to get more money, and the people projects are going through phases. They should first come into the Artisan Alley, then they create a community, then they go in Luksta or fund up for additional funding and real project expansion.
Right. Yeah. Pegasus has me laughing on that GIF that he sent in the chat there. That's what I was just smirking about. It's hilarious. But all right, John, good to hear from you. We will. I mean, you can keep coming back to Lightning Talks whenever you can. I'm sure as updates come along, and I've already given 2 about Artisan Alley at this point, so I will continue talking about the cool things that we're doing for sure. But good to talk to you.
Good to talk to you as well. Thank you. Bye.
Yeah. Okay. That's all we have for today. Anybody in the crowd feeling a type of way about coming up and talking some more, speak now or forever hold your peace. I'll start my outro and then see what's up. So Lightning Talks again, going to be, I think, around this time. I'm actually in Portugal now instead of in the US. So all of the times that James has asked me to do times that are more accommodating to Australia, I will definitely be able to do that on the hosting side of things. I think I don't have any plans for next week to be at a different time, but I'm going to reach out to some of the other people that, again, couldn't really get it done because it was at the Eastern time, the morning Eastern time. I'll hit up some of those guys, and if any of them are interested in talking at a later time, maybe we'll switch it up. But as always, it'll be posted in the events tab on our common ground here where you guys are all at, and make sure to click that subscribe button. The reminder button, I guess. We're not on YouTube. But about our YouTube, Wrap Up will be back on Friday. We also have a Spaces tomorrow on our Twitter. Make sure to join that. Come chat me up so I'm not just talking into the void all the time. After that, too, we have the Spaces from the team at Common Ground. They're going to show off that LSP gating, which we are so excited to begin using. So make sure to attend that. I also heard that there'll be a fun little giveaway or reward for attending that call. So great stuff. A lot of content coming out for the week. So it doesn't look like anybody else wants to talk. Oh, Florian wants to hang. That cool. Sounds good. Okay. See you later, everyone. Next week, again, we'll relay it on the Twitter. So just follow our socials. You'll find it. Thanks again for coming.